Hello again. I am Caner. I am with you with another video. Guys, I know you love my pilot life in Dubai video a lot, and in return, I've been getting lots of questions about being a pilot in Turkey. So I decided today to record a vlog for you, pilot life in Turkey. I'll try to give information about how is it like being a pilot in Turkey? What should you expect if you go Turkey? All right, let's get started. First things first, you're always asking, if I go to Turkey, am I gonna get paid in local currency, which is Turkish lira, or am I gonna get paid with US dollar or euro? Guys, it depends. If you are planning to fly in Turkish Airlines and Pegasus, which is the most biggest companies in Turkey, they're paying with Turkish liras. On the other hand, if you fly in Sun Express and Corendon, you can get paid in euros. The answer is totally depends where you are gonna go. That leads us to the second question. If I'm gonna get paid in Turkish lira, how about the inflation rate? Yes, guys, if you're getting paid in Turkish liras, unfortunately, right now, I'm talking about August 2022, there's a huge inflation rate in Turkey. So your salary each day is getting lower and lower if you compare them with the US dollar and euros. And the companies, they are trying to adjust the salary based on inflation rate. But do not forget, these adjustments are once every 6 months or a yearly basis. So in a year or 6 months period, each month you can get less and less euro and US dollar because of the gaining value of these currencies. So do not forget about it. If you are paid in US dollar or euros, which is good, you can keep some certain lifestyle. But if you are paid in Turkish liras, this is a little bit different story. Right now, for instance, like in Turkish Airlines, they made more than 50% increase for their pilot salaries. It looks huge, but the inflation rate is also huge. So therefore, it's extremely important to think of it. Your salary each month actually can make less and less US dollars and euro. This is the thing you should bear in mind. The best thing about Turkish aviation, I would say the companies are really secure and they're reliable. You know, when we have a look at the companies in Turkey, Turkish Airlines, Pegasus Airlines, Sun Express, Corendon, the others, you know, they're strong airlines. They are doing extremely well. If you go one of these airlines, you can have really nice, decent, you know, job opportunities, and they treat you well there. So for me personally, I loved and enjoyed flying in Turkey. Those airlines that I listed before, they pay you either in Turkish liras or foreign currencies. But do not forget, there's financially secure airlines. All the time you're getting paid. You're not gonna, you know, think of it like, am I gonna get paid at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month? This is not the case at all. And plus, for pilots, we're getting paid really high salary compared to Turkey, the situation when we think of it. But still, we don't pay that much tax, which is great. When you go to Europe, for instance, you know, the salary is there. There's a huge amount of tax deducted from pilot salary. On the other hand, in Turkey, this is not the case. So for me personally, I would never want to work in one of these European countries because life in Europe is expensive, but at the same time, there's a huge tax. You can earn almost same or even more salary in Turkey, whereas lifestyle in Turkey is good and life is not that expensive. So this is a really nice when it comes to, you know, companies and lifestyle. Speaking of lifestyle, guys, it all depends what kind of airlines you are working for. If you are working like legacies like Turkish Airlines, if you are working major airlines like Pegasus, you will be flying a lot. But on the other hand, if you're flying like a charter airline, not even charter, maybe Sun Express, let's put it that way, you will be extremely busy in summertime, but at the same time, winter will be a little bit relaxed. So you're not gonna fly that much in winter. Of course, the companies are all different. Some companies are paying exactly the same salary regardless of how you fly, how many hours you fly. But Sun Express they changed their system. So for instance, if you don't fly, you're not getting paid well. Whereas when you fly a lot, you get paid well there too. So summer times you can make huge salaries, whereas in the winter time you don't make that much salary. In Turkish Airlines you are always busy, but when it comes to charter airlines, as I told you before, you will be flying a lot. But charter airlines, you should consider one other thing, because in charter airlines, since there's not much work in winter time, so they can wet lease their airplane and crew to somewhere else. You might think of you are gonna work in Turkey, but during winter time, you can end up in India, Vietnam, Egypt, or somewhere in Europe, because the companies are trying to maximize their income. So rather than they let you sit at home and pay the same salary, they can send you other part of the world and make you work there. So you should think of it if you are planning to apply one of these charter companies in Turkey. Let's have a talk about the bases. Major base in Turkey, as you can guess, is Istanbul. You can be based in Istanbul main airport, or you can be based in Sabiha Gökçen Airport. But apart from that, the big cities in Turkey, such as Antalya, Istanbul, Ankara, you can have bases there. But if you're planning to work in Turkish Airlines, you will be based in Istanbul. Time to time, summer times, they open temporary bases in Antalya because of these charter flights between Russia and Turkey. But apart from that, you are based in Istanbul. When I was in there, they also had bases for 73 fleet in Ankara as well. I don't think that, it's gonna be a very interesting place for you, but you never know. And apart from that, if you are applying for Pegasus, Sun Express, Corendon, you might be based in Antalya, Izmir, or Istanbul, depending on the type of operation and where they need. And do not forget, because of quality of life, everyone wants to live in either Antalya, Izmir, because these places are nice. Summer places, you can enjoy, you can balance the work life and, leisure time. But if you're working in Istanbul, it's very chaotic. Commuting time is too much, it's more expensive than in other cities in Turkey, so it's hardly possible to get a base when you apply for one of these airlines which no one wants to work for. This is the rule. So you never know. Most probably you can be working in Istanbul. But do not get me wrong, Istanbul is good. I've lived there 6 years. Those are really good opportunities. If you are based in Istanbul, it means that you're gonna fly way different places compared to other bases. All right, now let's talk about the career opportunities. Guys, this is one of the best thing in Turkey. Expats and Turkish nationals, they're all same. It's not like other parts of the world. For instance, let's take Korean Airlines. If you join there as a first officer, you are not in the seniority list if you're expat. So you join there, you get paid there. Even if you work there 15, 20 years, you are not gonna be upgraded one of these airplanes as a captain. So this is not the case in Turkey. Whatever you join, which airlines you choose, or which airlines you get acceptance letter, once it's your time to upgrade, if you pass the fair assessment, you can be a captain there. I have flown many captains in my life that they joined as a first officer, foreign captains, and then they got upgraded. This is really nice. People are thinking otherwise sometimes because I got this kind of questions. If I do join there as a first officer, can I be a captain one day? Answer is very short. Yes, you can be a captain there. And also Turkey is great because it's expanding aviation-wise, I'm speaking. So you can find airlines to apply for. During this COVID time, of course, it's a little bit difficult. There are lots of unemployed pilots, but I'm talking about in general, if you don't have any flying hours, it's extremely difficult as an expat to find a job in this part of the world. They're always asking, some flying hours. But if you just finish your flight training school and if you don't have any flying hours, jet hours, you can still get acceptance letter from one of these airlines, Sun Express, Pegasus, Turkish Airlines. That happened a lot to me when I was in ground school instructor in Turkish Airlines. I've seen many cadets coming from all around the world with 0 flying hours experiences. This is really nice because, we cannot do this in the rest of the world. And apart from that, you can get paid relatively good salary. I know some, I don't want to give the name now, I know really bad European companies about it. They're abusing the pilots. they don't want to pay. You just work there to collect some hours and you work for them for free. And we all know this. And this is extremely rare in Turkey, whereas most of the time you cannot find it. This is the thing. And most of the time you get paid really nice. Okay, right now we are talking about last 1-2 years period, inflation is high. But generally speaking, guys, still, as a pilot in Turkey, you can make more money than Europe. If you are a captain in, Sun Express, I don't know the salaries. I can, because the salaries band of these companies are changing based on how much you fly. But you can make between 6,000 to 10,000 euros, which is good salary in Europe condition as well. But do not forget, you are living in Turkey. Turkey is cheaper compared to these European countries. Speaking of money, let me tell some really rough basics about how much you can spend in Turkey. Guys, let's put that way, it all depends where you live, which city you are living. But if you are single, even if you are with family, you can spend 10,000 Turkish liras for a rent. That's easily you can spend, by the way, depending on your location. You can go a little bit lower than this or you can go a little bit higher than this, but at the end of the day, 10,000 Turkish liras is okay for a rent. If you spend another 10,000 for grocery shopping, bills, all inclusive like internet, mobile phone, going out, you can make like 20,000. By the way, this 10,000 is a really good, money we are talking. This 10,000 is almost equal to a teacher salary in Turkey. I'm just saying 10,000 for rent. I'm saying another 10,000 for, spendings in Turkey. It makes like total 20,000. And what I must say right now, based on my friends, before recording this video, I asked their salary. Then I made an arithmetic average of their salaries. I'm talking about the first officers. They are making around 60,000 Turkish liras per month. So basically 20,000 is like 10,000 rent, 10,000 spendings. And of course, if you have a kid, maybe you can spend another 10,000 for the private schooling. But rest, still you can afford many things. Of course, it depends. Would you like to take this money, exchange it to currency, send back to home? Are you planning to commute? Those are all different things. But do not forget, a doctor can make around like Turkey in like 10 to 15,000 Turkish liras, whereas the pilots are getting paid 60,000 Turkish liras per month. Average. I'm telling you one more time, it's not like 1-2 companies exist in Turkey. There are lots of different companies. You can earn way less than the 60,000 as a first officer. You can make more than this, depending on your seniority, how long you have been in the company, what qualifications do you have an extra job. But this one is just roughly speaking the average. And even if you get upgraded in one of these airlines, you can make easily more than 100,000 Turkish liras, which is good salary. I cannot complain a lot. But do not forget, if you plan to live in Turkey, this is a good salary. Because of the inflation right now, it can be less and less each month because of the euros and dollars fluctuations. That being said, let's talk a little bit about the Turkey. Okay, I'm trying to be honest. I'm not gonna try to involve any emotions here, but still, I've been all around the world. I've seen many places. Still, Turkey is a really nice place to live. You can find everything in Turkey. Nice destinations for summer vacations, for winter vacations, nice decent lifestyle you can afford with the pilot salary, and you can have nice good private schools depending on these big cities. You shouldn't be worried about it, because if you come to Turkey, you will be living in one of the major cities in Turkey and you will be enjoying these lifestyles. I can assure you on that. And more about Turkey. Guys, I know it is silly, but you cannot imagine how many hundreds times I got this. Guys, no, we are not riding camels in Turkey. Yes, women can dress anyhow, any forms they want. No one says anything. Yes, you can drink in Turkey. Yes, you can drink in the restaurants. It's easy to find alcohol. Yes, no one as an expat, no one is, trying to change your lifestyle. And there are lots of expats are living in Turkey. If you go from Izmir to Antalya, which is west to south part of this region, you can see thousands of Europeans are living there. These places are really nice. Do not, pay attention to these silly questions when it comes to Turkey. But you can Google it, you know. We have a tool called Google. You can find real information there, and at the same time you can find toxic information there. Turkey is very liberal if you don't need to think of it, and you can enjoy your lifestyle there. But one warning before finishing the video. This is the worst setup for you it could be. If you are not planning to live in Turkey, if you are planning to commute, if you are getting paid in Turkish liras, then you might have trouble because, you know, because of the inflation rate, it can be working time to time. But if you want to take your family to Turkey, then you can enjoy Turkey way better, though you get paid with Turkish liras. Do not forget, okay, there's an inflation rate, but at the end of the day, your salaries are increasing huge. You cannot talk about 50-60% in the rest of the world, right? But here, as a pilot, in 6 months, your salary can be increased by 50-60%. That being said, this is my only concern. You should be thinking before moving Turkey. Am I gonna live here alone? Am I gonna bring my family with me? If you can bring your family here, then you can enjoy a lot. And before finishing, I would like to talk about the security. I'm always being asked, guys, is Turkey safe? Yeah, I will say Turkey is as safe as any other European countries. You know, there is no such a thing someone can guarantee you the country will be safest. Guys, this is like if you are in Istanbul, Antalya, Izmir, it's like Frankfurt, Paris, London, exactly the same. You shouldn't be worrying about. And do not forget, there's like each year millions of tourists are visiting Turkey and they're going back to their country without any problem. I'm not saying that there is no one, it's very secure, very safe. You should be careful, you know. There is also robberies, the murders, like but these numbers are not that high compared to other part of the world. So that shouldn't be affecting your decision-making process when you're planning to come to Turkey as a pilot. Alright guys, in this video I wanted to summarize how is it being like a pilot in Turkey, especially if you're an expat. What should you expect if you visit to Turkey? What's the pros and the cons? Of course, everyone has different situations. Someone is desperate to build some flying hours, which is great by the way to visit in Turkey, but someone wants to live in a nice, decent life next to the shoreline. Everyone's situation is different. I totally understand it. And I wanted to be fair and I wanted to give as much information as possible. Of course, I cannot cover this in 15 minutes video. It's extremely difficult. I just wanted to make a video for you to get you a rough idea of how is it like being in Turkey, because Turkey is a great opportunity when it comes to flying. As usual, before going, please do not forget to like my videos, subscribe my channel and hit the bell button to get the notifications once I upload the new videos. That being said, see you in the next video. Bye bye.